Welcome to the Varsity Beat, presented by the Varsity Collective. I'm your host, Sam Decker. The Varsity Collective is the NIL collective led and backed by the University of Wisconsin alumni, former Badger student athletes like me, and Badger fans everywhere. TVC's mission is to support current Badger student athletes on the field, in the community, and in life. And if you want to get involved, then go to thevarsitycollective.com and learn more about how you can support Badger student athletes too. On the podcast today, I'm really excited to welcome one of those student athletes, Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball guard, Connor Essegian. And then later in the show, we will be speaking with professional basketball player, UW Athletic Hall of Fame member, and my good friend, Jordan Taylor. So let's get right into it and welcome Connor to the show. All right, joining us, and it's very exciting to have a guy that I love to watch, and I think a fan favorite of Wisconsin basketball, Connor Essegian, freshman guard. We appreciate you coming on, joining us, and I'm sure a lot of people want to hear from you, want to hear about you, and I know a lot of people love watching you play, so getting an insight on the other side of Connor. Connor, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm good, Sam. How are you?
Doing fine, doing fantastic. First things first, state of the union of Wisconsin hoops right now. Fill us in. How's everyone feeling?
We're heading in the right direction, for sure. We're really loving where we're at right now. Everyone's got really good confidence going in, as we keep getting, some of these wins coming in. But we have a couple losses we'd like to get back, but it was all learning experiences, obviously. And so now we're heading in the right direction for sure.
These seasons are long. Losses happen, right? But how can you respond to those losses? I think we have a good group. You guys have a good group of, steady-headed guys that are going to show up. Your leadership group is good. And I think what people love about you, you're coming out there at that same pop, that same intensity every day. I spent a little time with you this summer. Your aggressive nature. Where does that aggressive nature, coming back for your roots in Indiana, when you're coming in trying to provide a spark, provide a pop, provide that excitement, where does that stem from?
I feel like that's just always been me and just who I am. Growing up, my family, we've always been a competitive family. Just me and my brother even, or me and my dad and mom, whether we're just shooting outside or, just games in the house. We're always competing for something. So I feel like that's just kind of been who I am my whole life. Yeah, but it's just me loving the game of basketball. It really is. Any moment I'm out there, I just want to do what I can and enjoy it.
Well, I think that's the thing that people like about you is you can see that joy that you have, right? You're out there, you're talking a little bit, you're looking at the crowd, you're getting the energy up, and that's something when I was a freshman, as a true freshman, just as you are, you just are out there playing the game you love, right? You don't even realize, what you're doing sometimes. You're just out there having fun, and you're playing off the crowd, you're playing off your teammates, and that's infectious, man. It's so fun to watch you do that. Are you enjoying being that guy that people are, when you're coming to the scorer's table, they're getting excited? Do you feel that? Because I felt that. It's a good feeling to have. Do you feel that as a player?
I do a little bit. I try to not focus on it the most I can. But, in the game and in the moment, there's times where it's a good feeling to just kind of see everyone, backing you up and wanting you to go in and do well. Especially, just getting to check into the scores table. Hearing people, getting excited or anything. It kind of gives me a little energy boost, too. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I know that feeling, man. It's a rare air, right? Because you're like, wow, people are excited to see me come into the game, and right there, it's almost a confidence boost in itself, right? What has that been like, though, coming in? I know it, star high school player, being the man. What has it been like transitioning to, hey, Connor, this is your role now. Some nights it's gonna be yours, some nights it's not. How do you approach that each day, knowing you have to be an energy guy, hit big shots when they matter? But you're not out there for opening tip every night. What has that transition been like for you?
It's been different. I can't say it's been easy either. In high school, being the man, the guy that goes out there, that you're relied on, 32 minutes a game is what in high school. Now to coming in, right now off the bench and, really just not being the guy every night. It's different. But it just makes me want to, have that extra edge to just go in there and really just keep hooping. I'm just out there just playing, and if, I get 5 minutes or if I play 30-something, whatever it is, I'm just out there just soaking it all in, especially at the level that it's at, that, it had been a dream of mine.
For sure. That's a great perspective to have because the level is unmatched. Big Ten hoops, getting minutes as a freshman. I can see your teammates around you when they're hitting you when you're, coming off screens or coming off pin downs, ready to fire. That's rare as a freshman. So seeing that, people notice it. You're on the scouting report. I know you say you're not the guy, but you're on that scouting report, coming in. They're trying to take your game away. How has, since game one, has it changed to now where you're on that scouting report, they're trying to take your pin downs away, they're trying to take your quick looks away? How has that adjustment been?
It kind of goes into high school a little bit, how starting out as a freshman and then throughout high school, guys that you play over and over start to figure out a little bit of what you do. But at this level, it's different. They got every game you've played, in their system. They're watching your every move. Guys' IQs are so much higher that you're going against that are coaching on the floor. So from game one to now I felt a big difference in how people are playing me. They're starting to realize some things. A couple of my moves are just the way I move in general. So I just got to start, just keep playing and finding different ways to do things.
You seem like you love the game and you want to grow in it. And who has been a catalyst for you since you've gotten on campus? First, go off in the locker room. Who's kind of that steady force for you individually and for collectively as a team? And then speak on the staff. Who has been, your guy when you're feeling a certain type of way?
For guys in the team, there's been a couple of the guys. I'd say three of the most that have been doing it for me are Tyler, Max, and Carter. Tyler just being the vet he is and knowing the game in Wisconsin basketball, he's been able to just guide me and lead me in the right direction from day one. It all started on my official visit. He was my host, so he kind of took me, and then Carter and Max. I know Max just transferred in, and Carter's finally starting to get a pretty big role on this team too. And but they've just being older, just in being in the college basketball game for a little bit too. They've been able to help me, and they're always the guys that are. I'm missing a shot, they're telling me next one's in, or just let me go out there and play. And then coaching staff wise, all the coaches really do a good job, I think, in kind of being in my ear, kind of helping out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now Coach O, he was the coach who was my main recruiter, so I already kind of had that head start of a relationship with him. So that's kind of been there too. But even all the guys, I could go to Crab, Coach Oliver, Reef. Even Coach Guard, was making a way to come out me and to talk to me, just to kind of one-on-one, just to kind of get a feel for things.
Yeah, and that helps as a young player, right? Because there's going to be times where you screw up or a defensive rotation that you're late on, and you're not trying to mess up. I wasn't trying to mess up, but sometimes you need that one-on-one from a coach. Hey, help me. I'm not grasping this, or they're doing this to me out there, and to have a staff like that and to hear that, that's awesome. Coach Crab was there for my first year. That's a great guy to go to. And Coach Guard, obviously as an assistant, he's got that. He still has that in him. That he used to be a guy I used to go to. So for him to be the head coach for you now, he still has that approachability. That's rare. So as a freshman though, how are you enjoying Madison? Give us a state of that off the court. Are you enjoying the city? Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm loving Madison a lot. Truly. There's just so much to go out and do, and I barely even know Madison yet. And I feel like I know this place, that I love it so much, but there's still so much more for me to learn. During the summer, especially when it was a little warmer, not any snow, we were able to do a little bit more then. But just to walk around, with the guys, or even, just by myself, or with just meeting new people. There's just so many people in Madison that just love the city themselves.
It's funny. Madison's got this. It's got this special heartbeat about it, right? When you're within it, it's a pretty cool feeling, especially when I'm sure people are seeing you now, patting you on the back. How different is that from high school to now? You're at this university, around 40,000 students, and then a city with hundreds of thousands of people recognizing you. How have you been able to handle that? Has it been cool, or has it been like? Man, this is pretty wild that they're noticing me here.
It's kind of a mix of both, honestly. In high school, it happened a little bit. Going to a school with only 450 kids in the high school was a little different than 40,000 here. So that's an adjustment and change. But I mean, I'm really, I'm soaking it all in. I'm loving it. I mean, it's just, this opportunity doesn't come very much, and eventually it's going to stop. So I know for me, I really appreciate anyone who is willing to say anything, ask for a picture, just recognize me or just appreciate, me being here. I mean, it's something that I appreciate every single person for because for people taking their time out of the day, I know how it is.
The way that you carry yourself, the way that you play, the confidence that you have in the game you have. Just from a former Badger and basketball player there, it's been fun to watch you. It's been fun to watch all the guys, and you're really doing a special thing and carving a special role for yourself. On the flip side, NIL side, it's a whole new state of hoops. I was talking with Jordan Taylor, another Badger, who big fan of yours also. We never had the NIL. We never had the opportunities in front of us like that. We kind of are jealous a little bit, and I think you especially are really, really ahead of the curve on the TikTok, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, with the videos, the production. Is that just a hobby of yours? Is that something that someone told you, hey, let's get ahead of this, let's do this, let's do, funny things, you do self-deprecation stuff, you do humor, you do swaggy stuff, highlights. Is that just something you like to do, or is it something that you saw, hey, this is an opportunity?
Both. I mean, it started out just being kind of something funny that, my friends were enjoying, me putting a video of me tripping and falling or dunking or something like that. So, I mean, it's fun to do it too. And I kind of like enjoy the video and the editing. I mean, that's what I'm here for too, for
You
school.
edit yourself.
Yep, I do. So
That's awesome.
I edit all my videos myself. I'll make videos of people like mixtapes and stuff. So I'm kind of already in that field a little
Oh.
bit doing that. So it's something I enjoy.
Uh-huh.
But it does add a new aspect to it when you can start, to make money off of it. It really
Yeah.
changes things.
Has there been doors open for you since starting that, especially now that you're playing well, playing on national TV, and then people say, oh, Connor Essegian on TikTok making this cool video. Have you heard, or have you been able to collaborate with people, or is that in the works?
Yeah, I mean, the opportunities are starting to come, especially now, kind of once things are starting to get rolling. I'm starting to make a lot of good connections that I never thought I'd be able to make. So to be able to just be in the opportunity to do this is pretty cool. Just to kind of do it with something I love on a different side of the game too. It gives me a different view that gets me away from dribbling the basketball. I get to do things a little different.
You're paving your own unique style on it, and I think one thing that I enjoy about you, and I kind of see the way I was when I was your age, like, don't be afraid of being yourself, right? Don't shy away from posting something you want to post that you think, oh, this is cool, or this could be funny. There is an audience for it. People want to see you do it. You seem to have the brand for it, the personality for it. You said you're now going to school for it. So do you see this as something, hey, I can turn this into a career next to basketball in my future, or do you just want it to be a hobby? Or is it like, hey, when the ball stops dribbling, I got this, I'm learning this, I'm creating connections. I saw you with T-Jazz, I see you, is this now a new route where you're like, dang, like, the world's my oyster?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to keep it as like a little side hobby, throughout basketball because I feel like basketball elevates it too, just in itself. But definitely once basketball's done, I'd say that's kind of where I want things to be headed, is kind of in that media aspect or being around the game at some point, some level.
Right. How have you been able to balance the NIL off-court stuff, making connections, shaking hands, hopefully signing, deals or getting cash or merch? How have you been able to balance that with hoops, with school? Or are you just taking it in stride?
Yeah, I mean, my main reason, I'm here I came here to win basketball games and to play. So that's kind of that'll always be my number one. So yeah, that's always ahead of everything. But finding a good balance is key. It really is. Trying to not, focusing too much on it and getting distracted, not going in and putting in the extra work still. So it takes a lot, especially with things coming from every which way and people trying to pull you in and all this stuff. So especially, just the amount of messages and stuff you get just to people trying to, do that type of thing. You just got to find a good balance.
As this NIL stuff grows, as a team, continues to be successful, are you guys looking to stay, impacting the community, or is there any causes or anything that the team is running, or are you just trying to be out there and support, the local youth? Because I know for a fact, just through talking to people, like kids in Madison love following you. They love looking at the things you do around the state. Is that something that's important to you? Are you seeing that now as I have a responsibility, to promote not just yourself but the university, as a class act?
Yeah, I love, being the guy that people, look up to, because I feel like I can set a good example of how to, be a good person that people can try and follow. I mean, there were those guys that I looked up to always just try and be like them. And so I have respect for that makes me want to, be that person. So, even when I went home this weekend, we had a kids camp for our high school that I just kind of showed up to without telling anyone. So just to kind of go back and give back to those kids. And here I'd love to start, making more connections and being able to do things for the youth here to inspire kids, or even just any way I can give back like that. I'd really love to.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, you're helping shape, lives and young people. I mean, that's a huge responsibility, but you're a great face for that, for the program. What's been your best moment so far, as a basketball player at Wisconsin, and then for the next 5 months, what are you looking forward to improve on as a team?
Yeah, there's been a lot of good moments, moments that I've enjoyed, just being a part of. I know for me, playing a team like Kansas, I know it didn't end up the way, and there was a lot of way I wanted to, and a lot of learning experiences that came with that, especially for me too. Just to be able to go out there and play a team like that I'd always, wanted to play, in the driveway, you're acting like you're playing against them, and just playing in those type of games. So games like that, I mean, playing at, from the Bruce City Battle. I was a big baseball kid too. It was a pretty surreal experience.
I was jealous of you.
Get both the best of both worlds for me. I was able to combine that in a way, baseball and basketball. But I mean, and then just coming in and playing in my first Big Ten game against Maryland. I mean, that was a surreal experience too. But there's a lot of good things coming, and I know for us, we're just trying to get better each day. We're really looking forward to it, and we're just going to keep pushing each other. Coaches are going to push us, and so it's a process that we really enjoy.
Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, already such big moments, big shots against teams like Kansas, obviously. Big shots playing at American Family Field, a place where I wish I could have played at some point, was living vicariously through you, and winning your first matchup against Marquette. These are things that you're checking off things on the list that guys don't get sometimes in 4 years. So you've set yourself up for a great career, but and which we love to hear, is that that there is more work to do, more work to be done, more shots to be made, and more wins to be had. And that's exactly what we want to hear from you. We're proud of you, man. Love the things you're doing off the court, love the things you're doing on the court. We love watching you, man. So appreciate you coming on, appreciate you chatting with us for a little bit here, and we can't wait to watch you guys down the stretch here in Big Ten play. Connor, we appreciate you having you on, man. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you.
Now it's time for the name, image, likeness roundup of some of the latest initiatives that student athletes from around the country have accomplished. If you want to find out what you can do to support Badger student athletes, you can do so by visiting thevarsitycollective.com. So first off, we got to talk about Wisconsin's own running back, Braylon Allen, who now has his own bobblehead made in partnership with the Varsity Collective. I got to say, it would have been pretty cool to have my own bobblehead back when I was on the court at the Cole Center. I would have loved to look up and see little kids or the students have had a bobblehead night for me. That would have been pretty cool. So good on you, Braylon, and good on the Varsity Collective to get that done. Nothing like a good bobblehead put on a desk. I wish, like I said, I wish I had one from my playing days. I've had some since, but nothing like having a Wisconsin basketball bobblehead. That would have been pretty cool. But going beyond that, out of the Badger State, earlier this year, I think this is the best NIL deal that we've seen so far. Nebraska wide receiver DeColdest Crawford made big headlines when we learned that he did an air conditioning commercial, unbelievable job here, by an Omaha HVAC company. In case you haven't seen the commercial, you can find them on YouTube. And I got to say, this is NIL at its absolute best. I mean, the puns just write themselves. The NIL is supposed to be something for these. Doesn't have to be so corporate all the time. If you got a cool name like DeColdest and you think, oh my gosh, I'm an AC company, we want to make your house the coldest. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. So I appreciate Omaha HVAC companies for using their brains a little bit and having a little bit of fun. And DeColdest for signing that deal. What a name. And that's such a good way for NIL to be used to bring some laughs, to bring the community together, and have some fun with it. Up next, I am joined by professional basketball player, UW Athletic Hall of Fame member, and my good friend, Jordan Taylor. Having quite the impressive collegiate career as a Badger from 2008 to 2012, Jordan is currently playing in the Liga Națională in Romania and also the Euro Cup. He joins me today to share his story and talk about what it was like to play for the university we all know and love. Next with us, it is a pleasure to welcome on a former Badger legend, a friend of mine, and a current professional basketball player over here in Europe, where I am as well. He is in Romania in the Euro Cup with me, my good friend Jordan Taylor. Welcome, Jordan. Thank you for joining us on our first episode. And first and foremost, I want to say congratulations on becoming a part of Wisconsin fame, the Wisconsin Hall of Fame, the Sports Hall of Fame at the University of Wisconsin. A huge honor. We're so proud of you. What does that mean to you as a former Badger and still a Badger, but in your professional days now? What does that mean to you to be in the Hall of Fame?
Appreciate you having me on, first of all, and kicking it off with you. I know you got something cool going on here, so I'm excited to see it. But as far as the Hall of Fame, it's honestly it means a lot. Like, it's one of those things where I think it's kind of cool that you have like that 10-year window, and I know it's 5 in the NBA and whatever. I think it makes you really appreciate. It allows you to appreciate something like that more. Whereas if obviously someone like yourself, myself, Frank, whoever could go in right after. So as I get to the end of my career, it's getting close. I'm an old head now. I'm a vet in the locker room. So it was really cool just to go back and be with a bunch of old teammates, guys that can make it, and experience that.
It's crazy to look back when you say 10 years. It doesn't feel like that. And I know for you it probably doesn't feel like that. We've done a lot. But going back, I know if it's some of our younger listeners and viewers that didn't, quite remember everything that you did, from 08 to I think it was 2012. It's crazy how fast it goes since then. For me, it feels like yesterday. I'm sure it does for you as well. But now, 10 years. How does that feel for you? Does it make you feel like, damn, I'm removed? Or does it still feel like yesterday those moments can still pop up in your head like it was just happening?
Both, man. It feels like both. It feels like yesterday, but then it's also this humbling feeling, like again, because it's like, man, at the time you're like, this is going to last forever. You know what I'm saying? There's times where you feel like you're on top of the world and all that, and it just feels like you're never going to leave this space. So it feels like both. It's just amazing. I can't really put a lot of it into words. It's just kind of cool to look back and be in like elite company, with obviously you're going to be in there one day. John went in there last year. He was a good friend of mine. I got to go to Orlando Tucker's. And for me, I grew up watching Orlando. So to have that experience, whatever couple years after him was really surreal.
For sure. Well, it's one of those things. I'm now obviously a peer and a friend with you. But before that, I was watching you as a fan, right? And it's cool when, you hear that line, idols become your rivals, but also friends here. Right. It's crazy watching you. You were the guy. And, there's a saying, it's guys want to be the man until it's time to be the man. And when the going got tough, the ball was in your hands, right? And that's a lot of burden to hold. Does that stem back, that confidence in those moments, does that stem back to when you were in high school winning Mr. Minnesota basketball, or was that something that you needed to earn that trust from Coach Ryan, from the staff, from your teammates, or do you think it's a little bit of both?
I think it's both. I think you obviously got to earn that trust, but man, I think it's one of those things where I think it's a mindset that you have from a young kid, like when you start playing basketball. Me personally, I think you can grow confidence in that. But I think guys in those moments, you either want to be in those moments or you don't, because it's hard to grow confidence in those moments, because more times than not you're gonna miss, if we're being honest. Like you're gonna fail more times than not. So it's really an innate is really just an innate confidence that you have to have and be okay with win or lose. That you had the ball in your hands, it was on you, and I guess in that moment. So it's more of a thing that even the confidence that you earn from the coaches is something that you really take. And also, in my situation, I think I don't know how many ball handlers we had, so it might have been a little default, at times. So if we would have had someone like yourself and I mean, Rob Wilson was a guy who I thought could have done that too. Didn't get to play as much, but either way, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, it's just something that I think you have to take.
Well, it's one of those things that you and I have this perspective because we were in that same locker room, not together, which we wish we've talked many times, wish we were, but earning that trust from a Coach Ryan. Especially in the system that we played, you realize how much he leans on you in those big moments, right? And I think that's a huge honor because everyone sees Coach Ryan as this guy that's almost this larger-than-life personality, right? But to know that you had that responsibility, I think it's an honor. But do you think that has impacted you on and off the court, to this day, carrying, that load or carrying that Wisconsin on your chest? What impact do you think that had on you till this day and that you can carry on?
Man, it's been huge. I think one thing that Coach Ryan, really instilled, no matter whether you were NBA guy, overseas guy, or 9 to 5 guy after you were done playing with him, he had a way about kind of giving you this self responsibility. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have, I'm pretty sure you guys did, but we didn't have a lot of we didn't have curfews. We didn't have class checkers past your freshman year. It was, are you going to do what you're supposed to do? He trusted you to do what you're supposed to do, and he relied that you were just going to get it done. And now if you stepped out of line, okay, he'd be there to kind of put you back in line sometimes. But he had a lot of trust in us to really just be grown men at a young age, which honestly, neither here nor there again. But overseas, it's one of those things where I came over here and I was like, damn, they're micromanaging. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to that. So I think when you get that you're given the keys, so to speak, at such a young age, you either appreciate it and you cherish it and you grow in it, or some guys, just don't really understand what it is. But I think a lot of the guys that come through Wisconsin are respect and understand that responsibility.
Yeah, and I think a big thing for us at UW was we took care of the BS that needed to take care of together in the locker room. Speaking with guys, I don't know with your experience as a pro the last almost decade now, when you hear about dorm checks, cameras in the hallways checking things out, here and there, just feeling like you're under Big Brother watchful eye. And I think the unique thing that you build that quote unquote brotherhood that still lasts now is, like you said, that time management. He gives it to you. You figure it out. You don't agree with somebody, you guys figure it out. That's unique. That's unique at the college level. And I think our listeners would want to get an insight onto that. Is there any stories where you felt like, or you could just be general about it, like, hey, you guys do this. This isn't on my plate. You guys got this. You guys be ready to play, but everything else is up to you. And that's, I think, pretty unique.
Man, I got a couple, honestly. It was, I think my freshman or sophomore year, I think Ryan Evans and Trayvon Hughes, we're old heads now, so they won't care about me using their names, but they got into it, and I forgot what it was about, but something happened, whatever. And they said we took it to the Dove, the logo in the middle of the locker room, or the old locker room, and they worked it out that way. And they scrapped it out a little bit. It wasn't serious, and after that, it was done. And we went on with the season. We went to the tournament. It was no love lost. It's just how it went. The one thing really involving Coach Ryan that always sticks with me was that last play, and I probably shouldn't even tell him to indict myself right now, but the last play we had against Syracuse, my senior year, we got in the huddle. And we're all sitting there. I think we're down one or whatever it is, and they're playing that 2-3 zone. It's like, Jordan, what do we got? And I'm like, what? Like, he's like, you're senior, your team. Like, what do we got? Yeah. So he trusted me to draw up the play. We didn't execute the right way. And obviously didn't get the shot we wanted. But just again, I cherish that because I didn't really realize it till later, but he put my own future in my hands in so many ways. Like, again, as a guy who got drafted first round, if things do go that way, I draw it up, that changes my future, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, potentially. We go to the Elite Eight and all that. And again, that's just an example of the self-autonomy or the autonomy that he gave to us
For
continually.
Sure. Fast forwarding, I know you're well connected throughout social media, as am I, as are all our ex-teammates.
Yeah.
When we were at school, it was you have a white jersey, you have a red jersey, you have white socks, and you have Adidas shoes. That's what you had.
Man.
My second year, I threw on a sleeve, and it was like, oh my gosh, you're wearing a sleeve. Yeah, sure. Frank then did. And then we got tights involved, right? You didn't have that. So you looking at, and your teammates looking at now, what is also a huge recruiting tool is the black jerseys, the pinstripe jerseys, the throwback jerseys, the Black History Month jerseys, all fire, all look great. Do you look back and you're like, man, if only?
Do I? Man, I'm not a hater, but I'm hating because I look back on that and I'm like, I look back at our games, I'm like, dang, we were swagless. Like, we were wearing big shorts. Some over here don't got no type of, like, really, I was just trying to copy Trayvon Hughes. He did the double socks thing, so he tried to dress it up. So I tried to swagger jack him a little bit. But other than that, man, like, I remember when you put the sleeve on, and I thought you had, like, some medical thing. I thought you had, like, an elbow thing or something like that.
It used to be you needed Henry, our trainer, you needed to have an excuse.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, this dude wearing this sleeve, like, what's going on? I didn't even think nothing about it. Next thing I know, Frank, like you said, Frank's got one on, everybody's doing it. And I'm
Trey,
like, man,
Bronson,
this is crazy.
But
Bronson,
now
Trey,
it's even more now. So looking at that, do you think that plays actually into this new wave of signing guys, getting guys on your squad? Do you think that's an important thing for Wisconsin to get ahead of? Because you can't fall behind.
Yeah, no question. I think even coming out back then, it was like we didn't have the names on the back of our jerseys and we were Adidas. That was something that gave me pause. As an 18-year-old, like, you don't know nothing. You're stupid, right? Like, you care about things that are really trivial for real, but they mean the world to you. So it's like, I think, even Under Armour having Steph Curry helps Wisconsin as an Under Armour partner. But yeah, having your name on the back of your jersey, being able to wear sleeves, having black jerseys, having all these cool events, those are the things that kids, especially nowadays, I think just love. But I think always, like, swag is a part of the game, man. Ever since the Fab Five, ever since the Fab Five, man, and that it's important. It's super important, and obviously more for some guys than others. But yeah, it's a huge recruiting tool.
So now, as you're, I don't want to speak for you, but probably going into the back half of your basketball journey that's been decorated, like we said. Mr. Basketball, All-American, leading teams to, Big Ten wins, to NCAA tournament berths, and overseas leading your teams and Euro Cup teams, EuroLeague teams. I mean, the list goes on and on for you, right? Jordan Taylor today, you drop him in whatever hall, Woody Hall, Og Hall, wherever you live, freshman year on campus, sophomore year on campus.
Smith.
What do you tell yourself? On and off the court. What do you tell yourself? Jordan, get ready for this. Jordan, do this. Jordan, your journey's going to be this.
Man, it's going to sound cliche, but I think I tell myself, like, just really lock in every moment. Like, Scotty Hettenbach was our trainer, our strength trainer when I was in school. And he used to say, like, when we would go out sometimes, like everybody does, he'd be like, you guys will have your whole lives to do that. And we're like, all right. Like, you really, truly think that you're going to be playing basketball forever. And it literally feels like a snap of a finger. So I would be telling myself, literally, don't take anything for granted. Don't take any days off. Honestly, you should be training and doing something every single day, damn near, whether it's stretching, whether it's this, whether it's that. And really just organize your time, because you never want to look back and be like, damn, I wish I could have done that. And, I obviously had some injuries and stuff like that. So I just tell myself, just be diligent and be disciplined as often as possible. That's all you can say.
No, that's awesome. But honestly, we're, around our 30s, right? And we're still talking about, we're still wearing badgers on our chest. It means something to us. being a Badger does mean something. To you, though, when you go to sleep at night or when you go back, what do you feel?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. Honestly, like joy, like happiness. I feel like
we were there this summer together. What did you feel? It was
it's
delightful.
It's every time I go. Man, I remember hitting you up like, "Yo, give me the 3 spot." I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball in the softball game, but I got you next year. But but no. Anytime I get to stop back on campus, honestly, it's just so much joy, so many good memories. I mean, those were 4 of the best years of my life, man. Like
sure.
I had so much fun. It shaped who I was as a person. And again, it's tough to. Nobody wants to sound cliche, but literally, it's like a rush of happiness. I love bringing new people, people that are in my life now that weren't then. I love bringing them back to Madison and like showing you I was there. It is the coast. I love bringing them around just because I just have so much positive energy for Madison.
I couldn't agree more. So before we wrap up, let's bring NIL into this. So as an All-American, as a Mr. Basketball recruit, big storied career, if you were in Madison and NIL was a thing, Jordan Taylor, I cannot tell you the opportunities you would have had. Do you look at this stuff and you text, Lure, another All-American, you text Gosser, freshman starter with you, Bruzy, these guys. Bruzy had a brand. Hate him or love him. Fans loved him. Everyone loved him. He had a brand. You had a brand. You were the star.
Yeah.
Do you think, damn, I could have enjoyed those 4 years a little more. I could have bought a couple more rounds.
Look, I look at this practically, and I don't even look at it as buy a couple more rounds of like what you could buy at college. I'm thinking of how it would have shaped my basketball decisions for after school. I think that's the biggest thing, and especially now with the way the G League salaries are going up. If I could have made I don't know what guys are making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, even for 2-3 years, and you can save some of that, I don't think I'm going overseas. And I think, again, that's another recruiting tool for me. That's like, all right, that can really propel you to, if you don't get drafted, obviously the goal is to get drafted, but if you don't get drafted, then it's like, all right, you really have some cushion to stay in the States, take an Exhibit 10, take a 2-way if you can get one, and play in the G League and really try and chase the NBA. Whereas, like, for me coming out, I didn't get drafted, and there was no 2-ways. 2-ways wasn't a thing. You weren't getting 500 or 50,000. It was 20. So I was getting, 6 figures to come overseas. I'm like, I'm going overseas. I'm taking 20,000 to go to training camp and probably get cut. Like, I'm going overseas. Like, so for me, I look at it in a practical sense where I'm like, damn, that could, that really changes. It really changes people's lives, especially kids that go to Wisconsin, because I think they have the wherewithal and the foresight to put that to use.
Yeah, and I think Wisconsin has the infrastructure, has the support from the fan base, from the communities, from businesses. I think this is a great opportunity for our young athletes, whether it's basketball, football, swimming, cross country, track and field, you name it. We have athletes on this campus. And as former alums, former players, I don't want to speak for you, but it's exciting to see this new road for these young Badgers to be able to, make a name for themselves at a young age and propel them to their future. And, hopefully we can see this continuing. And this has really been awesome. So thank you so much for joining us, Jordan. You got one more?
I would have redshirted my senior year and waited for you, and I would have done all the partner deals, man. I would have made another $200 off of you.
I know.
Package deal.
People have come to me. They're like, "Would you have stayed your senior year if you would have gotten some more endorsement opportunities or this or that?" And looking back, since getting injured my rookie year, I was basically a redshirt in the NBA. I was like, yeah, probably, because I would have been able to get healthy. I would have been able to, it would have been great. So I think it would have been a really good thing for me, and that's where I think we have a unique perspective. You dealt with injuries. This is so much for these guys to have a cushion, like you said. So this is a unique space, and glad that you appreciate it the same way that I do.
You would have gone back your senior year?
Maybe.
With NIL?
We got a soundbite. Ep1.
All right, I'm calling BS on that. Shoot, you gotta go. You top 20 pick. You was up out of there, man.
You never know. But JT, thank you so much. Best of luck here in this Euro Cup season in Romania. Badger Hall of Famer. First episode here on the Varsity Collective. Great chatting with you, man. Really appreciate you as a friend and as a lifelong Badger, man. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you having me, brother. Fun.
All right, man. Thanks for listening to the Varsity Beat, presented by the Varsity Collective. I'm your host, Sam Decker. Stay tuned for the next episode, and in the meantime, learn how you can get involved with the Varsity Collective and support Badger student athletes at thevarsitycollective.com. We'll see you next time.